So Andy, this is something that we have been really working hard on recently. My kind of brief was that we did display some information previously on Infomere which linked MEA strategic plans together, as well as with the Aichi targets and the SDGs. But then with the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, and also with the mapping exercise which UNEP WCMC did to map, they did a vast mapping exercise between the GBF and all the MEA strategic plans, those who had them, including in the chemicals cluster, not just biodiversity. And so we wanted to reflect those, but their mappings were in a kind of Word document, just buried in table after table after table. There were, I think, 8 was it, Catherine, annexes with just, you couldn't really get a sense of what these mappings actually meant. So we realized that there was a real potential opportunity for us to be able to present that information in a much more kind of interactive way. And also so that users could just, who they didn't want to know about any other mappings other than to SDG 15.5, then they could find that information quite easily. So yeah, so that's how it kind of came about. So that, and it's all about, Eva, if you could just go back quickly to the slide before. These are, I mean, it will be obvious to you, but these are it's quite clear. And actually at the Montevideo meeting, it came up time and time again, the Global Biodiversity Framework, this need to identify these opportunities for alignment and cooperation and the synergies between everything in terms of implementation that the MEAs are doing, that the GBF is about, that the SDGs are about. So it's obviously kind of a really big, important thing. Sorry, could you just skip now to the next one, please?
Yeah.
So we started off using Pool Party, our favorite tool, because Pool Party has this really nice feature where you can create alignments between different taxonomies. And we realized that, in fact, the frameworks themselves were very well suited to being taxonomies. They mostly don't exist in taxonomy form anywhere. They're just COP decisions, PDF COP decisions. But they do have that structure that lends themselves well to becoming taxonomy. So we basically created them here in the goals section. So you can see there's 9 or 10 strategic plans, as well as the SDGs, which are linked very cleverly to the UN version taxonomy of the SDGs. So that means users can actually go straight from our version to the UN version, and it kind of keeps that consistency between them. But basically, we manually created most of them. Then, could you just skip to the next one, please?
Yes.
We were able to use this related matching concepts. I'm not sure if you can see it, it's a bit tiny, but yeah, so we could relate here, I think it's target 13 of the GBF to, and we didn't make up these alignments. They were done by UNEP WCMC based on information which the MEAs provided to them. So as part of the GBF process, the MEAs are all committed to sending information about these linkages and alignments. So most of them have done that now. And then there's existing information about alignments with the SDGs. So there were a few alignments which we already had on the previous goals section. So we created those, but we've been kind of communicating with the MEAs the whole way through. So they're all happy that we're showing the linkages that they want us to show. So that's how we did it. And we also, as well as aligning between the strategic frameworks, we added, for each target of every single framework, we've added LEO keyword terms. And what that means is that if you're on, say, target 13 there in the new goals section, those keywords are then used to bulk tag all the Infomere content. And you then can see all the related content that has to do with that target by using those identified keywords. It's something the EU are doing, actually, with country reports against the SDGs. So they did exactly the same by using keywords. And it's really effective if you just want a kind of overview of the core information on Infomere that has to do with that target. So those were the kind of two main things. And then on the front end, Eva, I think the next slide should show just what it kind of looks like. This is about, I think by next, oh, I forgot to say, those MEAs that don't have strategic plans had still put forward to the GBF process their alignment. So Minamata Convention had sent the treaty articles of their treaty which were relevant to specific targets. And then on the right-hand side, that's the Paris Agreement, because of course UNFCCC doesn't have a strategic framework, but they effectively say the Paris Agreement is our implementation plan. It is our strategic framework. So for example, their Article 7 is aligned to Target 18 of the GBF. And what we were able to do, because we have this brilliant Indigo platform with this content which has been digitized and is machine readable, we're able, what you can see on the right hand side, those kind of tags on the right hand side, we can add, they're called enrichments, to the specific paragraph, subparagraph, even subparagraph of a treaty text, or even a kind of I think the next slide shows the World Heritage Convention operational guidelines. Yeah, so these are again, the World Heritage Convention does have a strategic plan, but they don't really use it. They very much rely on their operational guidelines as their kind of implementation plan. So they said to UNEP-WCMC, these are the key areas of our operational guidelines that align with these targets. So we were then able to go in, and you can see there 15B has been aligned with target 14. So we can actually select that specific line, that specific sub-provision, subparagraph, and tag it to target 14. So then, so that was great, because we were able not just to show the alignments between the strategic plans, which are taxonomies, but also to all this other content, which is still really useful information. So then when you go into the goals page, which looks like this, and we've got, you can see at the top there, SDGs, GBF, and also we added the chemicals framework, because although it's very new, it's still really important to have it there. Alignments are still, haven't even, I think, started with that one, but we've kind of already, by assigning keywords to each of the targets, we've already been able to make quite a few alignments between the other strategic plans. So then that's what it looks like on kind of the front end. Oh, thanks, Evie, you can just share.
Yes.
But so I kind of gave ODAWEB a real big headache, because I was really determined that instead of just having kind of page after page after page of like an accordion with 15.5 is linked to these targets of these strategic plans, I really wanted to have like a visual way of showing it.
Doesn't come up
so Eva's just trying to load it. Otherwise, if you zoom in on the,
yeah, you can also screen share. I think mine is just overloaded now.
Okay. I haven't actually got that, but even I think if you just zoom in on the Prezi,
yeah, okay, let's go back to
how
the
it looks.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can.
Yeah, so it's interactive. It's already.
But yeah, so you can just about see it's a bit tiny, but the link's there to the test section. But if you go into target 1, you then get that like diagram where all the frameworks that have been aligned are there, and then if you click on each one, you see which specific targets, and then you can click on them to navigate around.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. And then I think I put on the next slide either. Yeah, so this is what I was mentioning with the keyword. So that's how you see the kind of alignments between the strategic plans and also the treaty text, COP decisions, because actually I should say a lot of the convention said, well, we don't have a strategic plan, but these are the COP decisions where GBF target 13 is most relevant. So there you can see here the tagging's been done to these Leo thesaurus keywords, and then very cleverly using tagging, it then shows those. So there are 8 national action plans that are relevant to target 13. And that's really useful information for MEA focal points, but also UNCTs are really interested in seeing, like, you know, because there's so much fragmentation, and they might just want to see what MEAs are focused on which, and these targets is a really good way to kind of bring that information together. Yeah, so I think that's kind of an overview of goals.